Good morning. Welcome to the course on computer architecture and organization. Today we are going to discuss about the architecture and function of a general computer system. So if we open the cabinet of a CPU, this is the complex circuitry and its interconnection that appears. In order to build this complex circuitry, there is some basic which involves the architecture and organization of the computer system. So let us discuss about the architecture and organization. These two terminologies are different in nature, whereas architecture involves logic and organization involves the physical components. Computer architecture is concerned with the way hardware components are connected together to form a computer system, whereas computer organization is concerned with the structure and behavior of a computer system as seen by the user. As we can see, the computer architecture attributes are visible to the programmer. The examples are instruction set, input output mechanism, and its addressing techniques. So these are attributes which are visible to the programmer. However, computer organization involves how these features are being implemented. For examples, we have circuit design, adder circuits. Adder circuits, as we all are familiar, that they are combinational, digital combinational circuits, and the peripherals of the computer system. So basically, the architecture of a common processor family, for example, Intel 86 family, which has two architectures that have introduction in your course also in module number 5 for IA32 and IA64 086 processors. So IA32 is the basic architecture system, and the subsequent upgraded versions of the Intel processors share the same basic architecture. So IA32, then IA64, then P4, 386, 286, etc. etc. Similarly, the same case goes with the IBM systems in 370 family, which shares the same basic architecture. Actually, there is an advantage of sharing the same basic architecture. It gives code compatibility in different versions of the processor. And obviously, the organization differs between the different versions because, for example, IA32 uses 32-bit stream to be dealt with, whereas IA64 deals with 64-bit stream. So there is obviously difference in the physical structure of the two processors. So there are various functions related to the computer system. The functions of a computer system or a computer system is expected to perform data processing, data storage, data movement, and there is a unit which controls all of the processes, that is control unit. So here we have a functional view of a computer system. This is generally an operating environment. In this case, we have a control mechanism in between, and it is connected by the bidirectional buses with data movement, data processing facility, data storage facility. And data processing facility is obviously we are talking about processors. Data storage is secondary storage plus main memory, control unit, and IO unit involved. So according to the previously discussed slides, let us talk about the structure of a computer system. This is the top level structure. A computer system is connected to peripherals through very communication lines. If we expand this set of computer into various subsets, then we can see that a computer consists of a central processing unit, main memory, and input output systems through a system bus architecture which are interconnected with each other. If we talk about the structure of CPU, which is the main part of the computer system, the CPU carries registers, as you might have been familiar, gone through the course in previous semester on microprocessor 8085 microprocessor, and you might have studied about the structure or architecture, basic architecture of 8085 microprocessor, which has a set of registers used to store data, and accumulator, 8-bit accumulator, which stores all the arithmetic operations of the processor. So we have registers in the CPU, Then we have ALU, arithmetic logic unit, which is nothing but set of combinational circuits, and the final result is stored in the accumulator itself. Then we have a control unit, and they all are interconnected by CPU interconnection of the bus architecture. The next is important part of the computer system is a control unit. A control unit has a control memory, a sequencing logic unit. Control memory is used to store microprograms, um, and a microprogram is nothing but a sequence or set of micro instructions to be operated in a sequence. So sequencing logic unit operates the particular micro instruction in a sequence, and the control unit register stores which instruction has to be executed next, and decoders are used to fetch the micro opcode of the micro instruction. So control unit is also a very important part of this computer system architecture. And next, on the basis of the previous discussion, we can classify computer architecture basically into two models. And there have been two popular models of this computer architecture. One is known as von Neumann machine, another one is Harvard machine. So von Neumann machine, basically, as it is evident from the block diagram, difference between the block diagram of the two machine models, that we can see in von Neumann machine, we have same physical memory allocated for data as well as instruction set. Whereas in case of Harvard machine, we have different memory allocation for program memory and data memory. So in case of von Neumann machine, von Neumann machine, single bus will be used for single memory location will be used for data and instruction set. Whereas in case of Harvard machine, we have different memory locations for instruction as well as address. On the basis of this block diagram or machine model, we have separated them. As the second difference elaborate, it uses same physical memory address for instructions and data, and and Harvard architecture uses separate memory address for instructions and data. Another important point is the processor in von Neumann architecture needs 2 clock cycles to execute an instruction, whereas processor in Harvard architecture needs 1 cycle to complete an instruction. And one more important point to be discussed is that is a data transfer and instruction fetches cannot be performed simultaneously in case of von Neumann architecture. As we can see that the bus can perform, there is a single bus element in case of von Neumann machine model, and hence either it can perform data transfer or it can fetch an instruction opcode. So both the functions cannot be performed simultaneously in von Neumann architecture or von Neumann machine model. Whereas in case of Harvard machine model, we have two separate memory allocated for, and two separate buses are allocated for the program memory as well as data memory, and hence both the operations can be performed simultaneously in case of Harvard machine. So this is an important difference. So on the basis of these differences, because one model has an advantage over the other, whereas von Neumann is cheap and simple control unit design has simple control unit design, whereas Harvard architecture is costly and involves a complex control unit design. So on the basis of the advantage of one model over the other, we can classify their applications. Von Neumann architecture is generally used in personal computers, laptops, and workstations, whereas Harvard architecture is used, and the applications which involves complex processing or complex calculations such as signal processing, microcontrollers, etc. So this is just an overview of a computer architecture and organization. There is a lot to be discussed in the subsequent modules and lectures. This is all for today. Thank you very much.